Hey guys, I just did a video on the 5 things that you can learn from the UFC superstar Conor McGregor. So I covered marketing and sales, being obsessed, fighting through adversity and be willing to come back no matter what happens, being extremely confident at all times and staying humble. Guys, listen onto the podcast. It's an absolute cracker. Hey guys, so today we're going to cover 5 things that you can learn from Conor McGregor, the UFC fighter who recently just got beaten in his last fight. But at the moment, he's clearly the biggest athlete in the UFC, one of the biggest athletes in the world. And a lot of things that he's done really successfully, you can translate into your gym as well. So guys, let's dive straight into it, okay? So the first thing that Conor McGregor is so good at is marketing and sales, right? That's why he's the highest paid athlete within the UFC and also earn incredible amounts of money with his fights against Floyd Mayweather and has a lot of other businesses off the back of it. So one of the things that Conor McGregor did really, really well in his marketing is he captured the imagination of everyone across the world. Now, if you don't know Conor McGregor, it's probably like a little bit surprising, but look, people either love him or they hate him, right? So, a lot of things that he's done, I'm a really big Conor McGregor fan, but also a lot of things that he's done, I'm not a massive fan of when he was speaking about people's families and religions and things like that. But he's able to capture the imagination of the world. And that's why he is so incredibly popular. And people will just flock to watch him. Like, I actually don't like UFC. Like, I don't not like it, but I don't really watch it. The only fights I really watch are of him, right? And that's the power that he has. He's able to attract a massive market and he's able to outmarket and outsell every other UFC fighter, which is why he's the highest earner and definitely the most valuable person to that company. So what you want to think about with your gym is how can you attract your tribe? How can you attract that, 200 to 300 members who absolutely love and rave about your service? How can you attract more attention than everyone else in your marketplace? And also, how can you sell at a higher rate compared to everyone else? Because you could think of yourself as if you like sport, like I used to always love in business, I always thought about it as a competition, as a game. So I was competing against other gyms in the area, right? And I wanted to beat them, right? And you want to outmarket them. You want to be seen in more places with them. You want to have better sales systems in them. You want to have a bigger sales team. But just think with Conor McGregor, how can you attract a bigger market, right? Not just the people who love fitness and who want to train, but how can you attract that wider market? Because I'm sure your parents and grandparents might have even heard of Conor McGregor and they're not even really into the UFC, right? And the next one, which I was so impressed upon, and he kind of fell off the wayside for a couple of years there, but when he was first coming out, he was so obsessed with his craft. And I've watched a lot of his videos on like YouTube and things like that. I try and listen to a motivation video every morning when I'm driving to the gym. And one of the things that Conor McGregor is he's obsessed with his craft. He has done thousands and thousands and thousands of hours to become the best UFC fighter that he can be, right? And it translates to anything in life, right? And there's a really great book that you should read. It's called Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone. It's probably one of my favorite books. But this obsession and putting in more hours in the competition and absolutely loving what you're doing and not being like focused on what you can like do in your business over the next 6 months, but what you can do in the business over the next 3 years. And that obsession just has compound interest where you're getting better every single day. You're getting better at the technical aspects of training, of being a manager, being a leader, your marketing, your sales tactics, how you lead your team. And that only comes through obsession, right? And one of the things you can do to become obsessed is firstly, understand your vision and why you're doing it, right? How many people do you want to help? Why do you want to help this amount of people? How much money would you like to earn from your business? And what would you do with it? Not just, I want to earn 300K a year just for the sake of it, but what are you going to do with it, right? And that will create this obsession for you. And one of the things you can do to start to become obsessed is use the 7x7 rule, guys. 1 hour a day, seven times a week. So, every day, spend 1 hour studying and becoming better at your craft. So a lot of things in business, right? If you use all the rest of the hours to actually do the work, right? Because some people will study for like 6 hours a day and do like fuck all work and it's completely pointless, right? But if you study for 1 hour a day, it could be listening to a podcast like this or being the best client in your program. Like a lot of clients in our Inner Circle program will study our videos for an hour a day and they quickly become in the top 10% in our program. But guys, become obsessed. And what I want you to do is study for 1 hour a day in your business. Focus on a single thing each month. It could be leadership. It could be Facebook ads. It could be, organic marketing, sales. Right? That's going to give you about 30 hours, depending how many days in the month that you're studying to become better. And you use the rest of that time to do your practice, right? To actually work, to put this stuff, into play within your business and actually implement what you're learning, right? But you must be obsessed to become the very best gym in your local area. Guys, and we've only got 3 points left, right? The next one is fighting through adversity and coming back. So there's been so many times where, Conor McGregor has, had setbacks. He got beaten by Nate Diaz. He got absolutely pumped by Khabib. He got beaten on the weekend. He's had, court cases, been getting sued, everything like that. It's absolutely crazy, right? And it would be so hard to be like a professional athlete. And a lot of things that, happen to him won't happen to us. Right? But he's able to fight through adversity and he's able to come back and he's always willing to come back, which is one of his greatest traits, even though he always pretends to retire and things like that. Now, we've had a lot of adversity in the fitness industry. Okay. So, COVID is happening and it's still happening across the world at the moment, right? You might have had adversity where you've had, financial issues, cash flow problems, DA issues. You've had staff leaving and they've, taken clients. There's a lot of things that can happen. Right? You might have had a business partner that decided to leave the business. That happened to someone in our program recently, right? And your ability to fight back and come through adversity will be the difference between having a 7-figure business and kind of floundering at a level where you're not happy with, not taking the income or the salary that you want each month and not taking a healthy profit from the business. Guys, and it's very simple to fight through adversity. Firstly, you have to have that attitude that you will not be fucked with, right? That no matter what happens, you're going to fight through it. And the big thing that you've always got to focus on is why are you doing this and what's your end point, right? So, I've shared a lot in my podcast. For me, I grew up in my housing commission. My mum passed away from suicide when I was like 2 years old, had a very, tough childhood with my father on drugs and things like that, right? And I'm not saying that to, go boo-hoo-hoo like poor Jimi. I had a great life, right? But the reason why I'll fight through adversity and come back is because when I have children, right, I want to give them an amazing life. And I want to be a father and have a really amazing family where we're safe financially. So business, a vehicle to be safe financially. And then I can spend time with them. I can, drop them to school. I can pick them up. I can be their footy coach. I can make sure I'm at their games. Right? And whenever you have that adversity, if you think of that really long-term vision and why you're doing what you're doing, and it must be more than money, right? Because if you think about Conor McGregor, he could just retire today. The reason he comes back, it's more than money. It's more than income, right? And that will really help you fight through adversity. And when you're having those tough days, guys, that's where having mentors or really really solid friends in the business world who, are going through the same struggles as you, and then they can help you, right, will help you come through that adversity. But always think about why you're doing what you're doing and what you're going to do with this income, because having money for the sake of money is like completely pointless, right? You might as well just go and, relax on the beach and go and train. The next one, guys, is be confident. Now, anyone who knows Conor McGregor knows he's the most confident person in the world, right? When he got beaten by Nate Diaz, he came back and he beat him. Even though Khabib beat him, he's still confident that he can beat him again. Whether he's delusional or not, I don't know. I don't follow fighting that much. But one of the things you'll see with Conor McGregor, he's always confident in his own abilities. He's always confident in his own skills because he's obsessed and he does the hard work, and that confidence just exudes off him, right? You'll see the way he walks with swagger, and like not the clothes he's wearing, but his chest is always up, his back held tight. He's a very, very confident person, right? Which makes this comeback and fighting through adversity a whole lot easier, You want to think about your confidence. You might have had your confidence kind of shot in the past, and there'll be moments, where you're highly confident and also moments where you're not as confident. And when you want to kind of work on your confidence, one of the things that I always like to do on moments where I'm doubting myself or doubting my abilities is I have a book. It's like a notepad. It's actually in this like little folder, but it's written down all the amazing things I've achieved in my life, all the things in my relationships, my friendships, my business, my, very amateur sport career when I played sport, everything, every travel, all the amazing things that I've achieved from coming from a very troubled childhood. Is I'll read those on the days where I'm struggling with my confidence. I'll read this list, and it's actually a book. It's about 20 pages now, like front and back, right? Of all these things. Because I'm like 31 years old, right? We've achieved a lot of things. And when you achieve something, write it down. Or when you remember something that made you proud or filled you with confidence, write it down. And I want you to read that book every single time that you're lacking confidence or you don't believe in yourself, because you can do amazing things. You might have had that month, where you signed up 20 new members, or you had that Facebook campaign that went absolutely gangbusters, right? So when you're struggling with confidence, you can go back to this book and go, hey, I can do it. I know that I can do it, right? And then one of the things I kind of talk about a little bit, and this is more not in like kind of confidence, but in belief, because I always want you to have belief in yourself. One of the things that I want you to do is just think, if you're struggling in any area of your business or life, have a think of someone who's ultra successful in that area, right? So it could be, Facebook ads. I talk about my friend, Andrew G. He's an online trainer. He spends like $40,000 a week on ads, right? And one of the things I always think about, and I tell my team and everyone I coach with, I go, look, if Andrew G was running your ads and he owned a gym, right? Do you think you'd be able to get a campaign to work? Because 100% yes, he's probably one of the best Facebook advertisers in the whole planet. And that's just going to give you belief, because you know that if there's someone else in the world doing it, what you're doing, and you're not doing it yet, you just know there's a gap. Because I'm telling you, there's no one special in this world. There's no one born with these really amazing abilities where they just crush everything. That skill is learned over time. It's learned through practice. It's learned through mentorship and putting in the hard work. Right? And that's going to fill you up with belief, which then transfers to confidence. Okay. And you become really, really, really confident and start to think about some things that make you incredibly confident every single day, right? It might be like reading affirmations. Okay. So I have these affirmations I read every day that focus on my future and the person I want to be in my business and my life and things, which makes me feel really confident when I read that with the list of all the amazing things I've achieved. And one of the other things you can also do to help you feel with a little bit of confidence every day is write down 3 things that you're proud of that you achieved each day. Just do it at the end of each night. You can use a notepad. There's also an app called the 5-Minute Journal. It costs like $7.99, which does it for you, and you get to kind of hold them together. Because I always find I lose my notepads. But that's going to fill you up with that little bit of confidence every single day as well. And guys, the final point that I'm going to leave you with is stay humble. So, Conor McGregor has had lots of times in his life where he has been humbled, right? He's been beaten in fights. He's been, had trouble with the law. He's made some absolutely massive, massive, massive mistakes. And, I can see that he's grown a lot as a person. He used to be very flash and, kind of out there. And now he's a very humble person. I actually prefer the Conor McGregor that we have today compared to a couple of years ago. But if he was this person a couple of years ago, no one would know who Conor McGregor is. He wouldn't be the biggest athlete in the world. So, being humble and just knowing that, in business and life, we are going to be humbled. We're going to have some extremely tough times. We're going to have some amazing times, but also some very, very tough times. And I think we've seen that in the fitness industry as well over the last, 12 months. A lot of businesses were flying and then dropped down a lot. But you must be humble and just understand that setbacks are going to occur. And it's the person who gets up from a setback or when they've been humbled and continues to fight because they're confident and they're willing to fight through adversity and they're obsessed will be the person that always wins. Okay. But in any success that you have, you don't want to be flash and, out there about it. You just want to make sure that your success, you kind of go in your stride because you're on your own vision. But then also when you have setbacks is understand that this is a part of life. And you learn your greatest things in life when you actually get humbled or when you have setbacks. You often don't learn much when things are going so well. So just understand that you must be humble. You're going to get humbled in your life. You're going to have setbacks in all sorts of different things, right? But if you focus on being the best marketer and salesperson within your local area, you'll be a star. Your gym will be a star like Conor McGregor. And it happens over time. You must constantly be marketing yourself every single day. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, running ads, Google ads. Your website's amazing. You must, in this day and age, market and sell yourself better than the competition, because there's so many options out there. You need to be obsessed, right? How many hours are you working every week? Are you a master in all the crafts that you need to be? Start by studying 1 hour every single day. Don't overstudy, because then you got to do the work, because that's how you become amazing, by actually implementing it, not being someone who can just read off a textbook and actually hasn't implemented everything. You want to fight through adversity, right? Be ready for your comeback. We've had some crazy adversity in the last 12 months. There's going to be more. You're going to have ups and downs, DA issues, trainers leaving, clients leaving, making mistakes in business, whatever it might be. But fight through adversity by thinking about your long-term vision and why you're doing what you're doing. Be confident at all times, and make sure you set up your life so that you can feel confident every single day using the tips and tricks I shared with you. And always stay humble, and know that, for every up, there's a down, and you're going to be humbled within your business. And you just need to make sure that you're always focused on your long-term vision.